What the fuck happened? I'm honestly kind of petrified. Check that off. Okay, so next up is right next to Lethal Lagoon. Whoa, what's with the block? This is amazing. I know I've never been here before. Which is what I thought. Shotgun. I always need Saudi. Just the next one is that. Might be able to. Shit, I put in park. Maybe if I hurry, I'll be able to make it. I'm gonna have to risk it. I can't do it. But I can do, on the other hand, I can head over to the volcano and get a volcanic vent. We're gonna be you too. I need you. Guess I'll take you too. See who's in here. Hopefully. There you are. Nice little pistols. Oh shit, oh shit. I'll head over to the volcano now. I just need a volcanic vent to get me over there. Okay, I see one. There we go. Okay, so this is the area that took over. Okay. Trying to figure out what place, what area this is. Oh my god. In case you're wondering, yes, the lava does hurt you. Which is why I shall not be walking on it. It does that. It takes away 1 health per time you step on it. Come here, boy! Girl. I don't know what 2 minutes then. There you are.
while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire.
Humble investment. Yeah, I should have waited. And just one more high.
With crimson secrets and forbidden bliss, can't stay still, don't stop that thrill. My bones crave your skin, temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. I don't
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love.
Of course they would. They have John Wick, to John Wick.
You wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
I don't know what to listen to.
This episode is brought to you by Dashlane. Try Dashlane Premium free for 30 days at
Okay, so mechanic
dashlane.com/infographics
events,
and never
okay,
forget
and then
another password and keep all your online accounts secure. As we've said in previous shows, not everyone using the dark web is doing something criminal. In some ways, this corner of the internet gets a bad name, and research has shown many of the darkest things supposedly happening in the dark web have been exaggerated. That said, it's well known that many people, mainly the younger generation, go there to buy illegal substances that they may have otherwise procured on the street. It's also well known that people with strange inclinations visit this place to chat with others that share their fascination with what we might call the more eccentric aspects of life. If you've seen our shows on the dark web, you'll know that finding it is not that hard at all. The question is, should you go there? That's what we'll discuss in this episode of the Infographic Show. Why you should avoid the dark web. Let's just give you a quick recap on the dark web, as you may not have seen all our other shows on this place. It's said that only around 10% of the internet is the internet as we know it, meaning the part we can all access. Much of the rest of the internet we call the deep web, which is just the part of the World Wide Web that's not indexed by search engines such as Google. It's a common mistake to think the dark web and the deep web are the same. The dark web is just a small part of the deep web. Many people give it the example of an iceberg. The bit at the top that we can see is the internet as we know it. The main part that lies under the water is the deep web, and the dark web is just a very small part around the very bottom of the iceberg. This is naturally where people go when they don't want to be found. That might be because they have a store there selling the aforementioned illegal substances, or it might just be because they're living in a country that has very oppressive laws on speech. In the dark web, you'll find sites that end with .onion. These websites are not accessible using your regular browser, but you can easily download the Tor browser, and before you can say, "Where am I?" you'll be in the dark web. Here you should have complete anonymity. Okay, so the question is, should you go there? Well, firstly, you should know that the dark web, of course, is of interest to authorities. Illegal things happen there, so we can expect authorities to keep an eye on the place. You should also know that the Tor browser has vulnerabilities. With this in mind, you might ask just how safe is your anonymity? We might also ask if there are other reasons why you should not visit the dark web. Reasons more related to you finding things that you probably shouldn't have found. With the latter concern in mind, we looked at Reddit and Quora posts containing people talking about negative experiences on the dark web. We can't vouch for the honesty of these posts, but indeed there are people out there who said they came across things in the dark web they wish they would have never seen. One person on Quora wrote, "I browsed dark web for well over half a year before a horrible experience made me quit. That experience sounded very nasty, and it's not something we want to recount here. Let's just say it involved a video of someone being hurt." Now, others say this kind of thing is very unusual, even for the dark web. But we must remember that it does happen, because an Australian man was put in prison for making such videos. Unless you're sick to the bone, this is not the kind of thing one wants to see in life. So we could say that one reason not to go to the dark web might be because out of curiosity, you see something you might not ever be able to forget. Another person who used the dark web said he looked at forums where he found what he called weird stuff. By that he meant people talking about hurting others, discussing gore, and talking about depraved things such as wanting to eat people. And yet another person said he witnessed what he called a very creepy video. He said there were about 50 people watching this video, again relating to someone being hurt. In this case, not very hurt, but still not something people would want to see. And many of the folks watching this video were making what he called obscene comments. Another person on the same thread said he was just hitting random links when he came across a cooking section, only the cooking involved humans. This wasn't a video, but a how-to kind of section. "I was traumatized for a few days," he said, because he just read the comments. So unless you want to be traumatized, we suggest you might give the dark web a wide berth. We are quite sure you have to go looking for this kind of stuff, however, so perhaps if you have to go there, just be careful what you search for. As one website that gives advice on the dark web tells us, it's easy to click suspicious links or partake in criminal activity. That website says some of these links are deceptive, and before you know it, you're virtually living in the realms of the demented. We looked at another website called darkwebnews.com. It told us that many people access the dark web without using the Tor browser. It said this can be done with websites such as Tor2Web and Onion2Web. The problem here is that you are exposed, and this puts you at risk of being hacked. Other than that, many people do use the Tor browser, but they don't use a VPN. The problem here is that the Tor has been cracked a few times, and if that happens, your URL can be seen. Okay, so you only went to that disgusting site out of sheer curiosity, but still you went there, and it might not look good for you when your local newspaper has a headline that goes something along the lines of, "Boy 17 caught downloading images of XXXX on the dark web." We're also told that you should not enable scripts on .onion sites, which is what many people do. When you do this, we're told you can leave yourself open to hacking, or you just might find a Trojan horse has gotten into your computer. You might also accidentally download files from the dark web, and this is a big no-no. Still, people might just do this by accident. But the big thing to remember, according to that same expert, is don't think that what you're doing on the dark web is illegal. The person says if you're viewing a site on the dark web for any reason from actually desiring to acquire these products or services, or just to wanting to quench your thirst for knowledge on the subject, know that you may be held liable for what you come across. With that in mind, have people been arrested for using the dark web? Well, in 2018, the U.S. media reported that authorities had made a huge bust of people selling illegal things in the dark web. Engadget tells us that these authorities announced the first ever national-level undercover bust of dark web outfits selling drugs, weapons, and other contraband. Now, perhaps you'd visited some of those sites that got taken down. Again, it was just out of curiosity, but if they could find the owners of the sites, what's to bet that you could have been exposed? It's just not something you want to happen to you, and it might not matter that you went into those sites innocently. Other websites tell us that the FBI and police from all over the world are regularly inside the dark web. Sometimes they go undercover and manage to find the address where parcels are delivered. The Indian media tells us that arrests were made in 2017 by the Mumbai Anti-Narcotics Cell when some boys had ordered LSD from the dark web.